and right? Tonight you're in Kuantan. Please go and eat at Teluk Cipta.
I'm just gonna check in and see.
Dr. Ng,
This is Dr. Ng. This is me.
Dr. Ng, last time you don't know how much I was doing sales, we travel until Perlis, finish all work. Pukul 8 ada depan pintu lecture semua. Finish all work, we went out to Thailand border. Just to eat tom yum,
And we did.
go shopping, bought a big teddy bear.
My normal UTM and other places, I'll get a better hotel.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Russia. Hi. Normally.
Yeah, they're on the way.
I don't have business card, so I left the entire box at TNB.
Yeah, I saw that box. Now I remember it didn't bring it.
Okay.
So I think I finished my course.
Hi. Isham. Isham. Isham.
And the gang, yes. Have lunch first. Lunch? Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Have a drink?
Drinks, I need drinks.
Tadi ICDE.
So I go from thinking about it, just like to see how the procedure was going to go on, so that you can see how to deal with it. Where from?
Can I sit with the
Welcome.
Okay.
From where? We from Thai.
Hi.
Thai,
Yeah, just nearby.
How are you?
Engineering.
Because they don't mention anything about the specialization in the field. Just like
Yes.
Yeah.
What's going on? You don't know what is the story. Just listen. Come on. I closed one of the bottles from December. Until now, they don't send me. No, I said, she said, actually, this is being serious. Why am I sending you a letter? Please,
What? And the cards.
This is one time.
Oh, this is one.
This is no, this one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes now, Ni. Sure. Because some of them said, please do not start, we're just running. RMC is not a short walk from a certain place. You just had over. Thank you for that. Feel free to get drinks and so forth, yeah? Refresh yourself after walking. Yeah, right? You've got to give credit to the professors now who walk here, and we are all walkers here around UIA. It's quite a walking campus actually. If you look at University Malaya, right, I don't think I can walk from one building to another without a car. You know? But UIA is like we can connect each other around the campus by walking. I kind of like the walking campus actually. So what's the actually we are having introductions. So there is something else, yeah. Yeah, so some of them might have like a form of sort of their research information and so forth. We just don't know which format. Maybe you can educate later on which format you want, when you want to evaluate these grant or whatever application they gave, right? So if you give us that format, right, I can collect from all the researchers, and I can just send you in like one file or something. It's easier that way, so that you can do your evaluations at your end. Okay, I think it's better for you to give a standard format to our researchers, so that you don't have headaches seeing like some PowerPoint slides, some journal paper, some whatever not. I think it's better you give us a format. I think that's better. But some of them have asked me to even want to talk to you. Maybe they have some questions, burning questions, I call it. Like they ask me, I don't have an answer for them, of course. So I said it's better that they ask you directly these questions, since you all four are here, right? So I think the question answer sessions can be open. Some of them is that we're trying to know, for example, which stage of evaluations of IP can be done. Like, does it have to wait for a later stage, or can you evaluate it even at the fundamental stage, so that when they do research, for example, they're geared towards the industry needs, or like there's two types. You can do fundamental very thoroughly and deep, right? But at the same time, in this current economy change, to what happened in current scenario globally, not just Malaysia, is that maybe you want to tailor some part of your expertise towards some things that can be commercialized, right? In the local platform, or even more than that. So maybe this is something that you want to share with researchers, sort of like ways that you can facilitate the researchers and so forth at your level, what the researchers can, because we want to give options to our researchers, right? Not just doing RMC as the only hope for them to commercialize, right? We want them to go out and talk to you, for example. What can they do, so that they can come back and advise the university, or give inputs to university. It's not just a one way. The researcher can give also their inputs. I like to have more of that interactions between the researchers and so forth. Okay? So at the end of the day, we want to encourage our researchers to actually think along this line. We want to meet the national agenda. This has to be done.
Yep.
Okay. So I think we can start. Okay. So Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. And first of all, I would like to thank our Platcom folks here for coming all the way from Cyberjaya. Right? All the way from Cyberjaya. I've met with Dr. and Nalni before. They will introduce themselves, but why RMC made this session is because when I have a first initiate talk with Dr. and Nalni, is that it's a very fruitful discussion, and it's not just, for example, a lot of these things we researchers don't know that it exists until you meet and talk to people and you said, oh, there's a lot of help for us actually, but we're not tapping into this help, right? We're just looking into the domain of our university, and I don't think that's enough. Okay, so without talking too much, I would let your team to introduce your platform, what it is, and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe introduce yourself.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me for my voice. I'm losing my voice, so I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm Dr. Ng. I'm the commercialization specialist for Platcom Ventures. With me, we have Dr. Izam, also commercialization specialist, and he also does halal consultancy, halal certification consultancy, which he will share later on. And we have Naomi, which joined us recently, and also a commercialization specialist. And last but not least, we have Rizal, which is he's the relationship manager for IIB. So you'll be seeing him a lot more, right? Okay. Before we go any further, do you guys know Platcom? You don't know. You guys know Arjun? Never heard that? Okay. Ever heard Agency Inovasi Malaysia? Okay, so we are owned 100% by Agency Inovasi Malaysia. So back in 2010, the government realized that we have to start innovating. So AIM was established back in 2010 to look into the entire innovation ecosystem. So out of the ecosystem, one key thrust is technology commercialization, because a lot of money have been plowed into research in the billions, but the conversion rate is really, really low. You guys have an idea what is the percentage? You make a wild guess. You are very optimistic. It's around 2 to 3. 2 to 3. World average is 3. The better university like Stanford and Oxford, they might go to 10. But like if we benchmark Oxford, it's around 8%. So of course we are normal. We are not that bad or we are not that good, but then there's always room for it. So one of the key trusts in activity that M does is on technology commercialization. So back in 2010, we already have a group, we call it the IBO group, Innovative Business Opportunity Group, whereby we realized that there's a lot of research output residing in universities, but those are not being discovered and being polished itself. So what this particular group did at that point is to go to each and every government-funded university and say, show me your research output. We then evaluate it at a commercial side rather than the merit. Of course, whatever output university produce, they have their academic merit, but we are looking at the market merit. Is there a market for this product? For those that have the market merit, we then try to rebrand them in a way, repackage them, make it look more commercializable, and then we try to facilitate the commercialization. So I will go into the model of commercialization later on, just to give you an idea how is it being done. So that has been up and running since 2010. Back in 2014, that is when Platcom was born. Is SME Corp? You guys know what are they doing? SME Corp population. So SME Corp, they are supposed to look into the welfare of the entire SME population in Malaysia. As you know, 90% of our industry, they are SMEs. But their contribution towards our total GDP and PNI of the nation is very, very low. This is different from country like in Germany. Germany, they are also majority SME, but the contribution to the economy is kind of high. So SME Corp see the gap that SME, they are not innovating. But we can say, we can encourage them to innovate, but how? They don't really know. So we were brought in to give a consultation on how to set up a commercialization platform for SME. So in the process of consulting them how to come up with this platform, we realized that it is actually a duplication of what we have in AIM, and then towards what they wanted to establish. So in 2014, AIM and SME Corp decided, why don't we join venture? So AIM previously served university, it's more on technology push. SME Corp wanted to be more SME relevant, which is technology pull. So we combined the effort, so Platcom was born. So our function here, depending who we talk to. If we talk to university, is about discovering your prototype, your invention, try to see the market value out of it, and then try to push it to the market. So if SME come to us, then we will see what is your gap, what is your need, is there any technology that you want to commercialize? We then find the technology for them. So we are like a commercialization platform for both sides. Okay, we do have some funding in terms of matching grant. Yeah, although we do not fund research, but this is very relevant to university, and this model has been proven to work across Malaysia. Whereby if you are on research and your research already have a business or business partner or industry partner, and they are committed to bring that particular technology to the market, they can apply our high-impact program to matching fund, whereby we will provide the end-to-end facilitation. So commercialization is not a very difficult task, but it's there is no clear path that we can follow. So it's very fluid and very dynamic. But as long as you know what is the next step we take, so it is possible. So with our high-impact program 2 program, we have facilitated a lot of licensing deal. Licensing deal in this case means that technology or IP from university is being transferred to the company. Then we guide them through the commercialization process. And then at the end, a product or services is available for the market. So that has been quite successful over the years. We have one case from IIM. I'm not the project manager involved, so I don't really know what is the progress of the project. But it's certainly not something new to your management, because we dealt with them before on the previous case, like Pen is an example. Yeah. But our intention here today is to let you know that, okay, Platcom is here to exist, and there are a couple of things that we can do for you, and then we don't just provide funding. Because most of the time when company come to us, day in, day out, company come to us. SME, they come to us. If you ask them, what is your problem? What is your challenge? They will only mention one challenge, which is money. This is not the case for commercialization. The end-to-end facilitation is very important. Because money is one of the problems, we cannot deny that. But even with money, that project won't take off. So what we provide is end-to-end facilitation. If money is one of the roadblock, we then help you up to 50%. Okay, now I'm gonna share with you technology transfer model, just for you to understand what commercialization is all about, and the process is kind of straightforward. But as I mentioned before, no one case is step by step. Okay, you have to have an overview of how it's being done, and then apply your own case to it. Okay, now one of the key things I wish to share is that you as a researcher, because I was a researcher before, why am I bothered? Right? Why am I bothered? Ever ask yourself, are you bothered with commercialization? You do, right? Some of you do, some of you don't. The simplest and most blatant answer will be being revenue to you. It is a good retirement plan per se. Okay, now you might not know, okay, how do I really reap the benefit of commercialization? So in commercialization, of course, when something is successfully being commercialized, there will be revenue coming into the university. Yeah, the industry or whoever that is will pay the university. Then your portion will be governed by the university IP policy. Not every researcher is aware of this one. So when we consult university researcher, they were like, so what's my share in it? What am I doing this? My intention is sharing my knowledge, it's not making money. Yeah, but I wish to share with you today that there's a lot of researchers out there. They are still sharing their knowledge out, but at the same time, they are also reaping the benefit of commercialization. They are driving nice, flashy car. Yes, yes, a lot of them driving nice, flashy car, and that is from commercialization money. I'm not sure what is your IP policy, but most of the university they adopt mostly IP commercial IP policy. They clearly stated out how much if how much the money coming in, how many percentage goes to the university, how much goes to the department, and how much goes to the researcher themselves. So that one is clear cut. So the more you do it, the more money you take, then of course the higher your share is. If not mistaken, mostly IP policy is very generous towards researcher. So big portion of it actually goes to the researcher. Okay, it's good to find out. You can just Google IP policy mostly and you'll know. Now, let's go into, so it is relevant to researcher because first you can share you get the money. Second is whatever you research on actually turn into new product that benefit people. We are lucky enough sometimes to be in a position of reviewing research proposal. And when we look at your objective of your research, all of it is actually benefiting people. You want to save the world, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do everything within the proposal. So the proposal look very nice. So approval is being given. But if you don't engage in commercialization, it's something that we say shots in really. Really, I really have to stress out this point that whatever look nice on paper, you can produce the result. If you don't see it through, the end user, the people out there cannot reap the benefit out of what your grand intention is. Okay, so now let's look into what are the model, what are the steps required for technology commercialization and technology transfer. Now I want to keep this very, very interactive. So I won't be using all the slides. I have over 40 slides here, but do feel free to just ask any question at any point. Okay. So a bit on myself. I'm Dr. Ng. I got a PhD in microwave engineering and food engineering. So I was trained all the way as an engineer, but I never really be an engineer even one day. So right after my graduation, I'm involved in commercialization and tech transfer. Yeah. So altogether, I have around 9 years in tech transfer and commercialization. I have experience in the UK, Australia, and of course in Malaysia. Okay. So is there a perfect model out there for technology commercialization? The simple answer is no. There is no perfect model for you to adopt. So this is especially for RMC or ICC that do not fix your mind towards one model. So if you want to manage your older IP within the same route, some of the IP will actually left out because not all IP, not all technology can be fitted into a clear and nice model. Okay. The process of technology transfer from invention to commercialization is often assumed to be something in a black box. It is, but it is actually not that complicated. The problem that we face normally is we often treat all the technologies to be the same, but each technology, they are unique. The route that they're supposed to take is also unique. So for laymen that have not done commercialization before, there is too much variable for them to adapt. So often it's regarded as a black box. But it is not that difficult if you know the next step rather than the next steps. You don't need to know what are the entire steps. Okay, lepas buat ni, you buat ni. Lepas ni, it's not like that. Because each and every technology, the technology readiness level is different. Industry that are interested is also different. So in order for you to find the right match, once you found the right match, the next step is very important. Once you completed the next step, then you find what is the best next step. So that is very, very important. Rather than you insist on, okay, now I have a match, next step is protection. Next step is marketing. It's not the way it is. But for researcher, you are in the position with knowing what is the general model, you are more aware or empowered of the entire process. And you do not put the blame on the commercialization team who does the work. Because we talk to researchers all the time. Half of them blame RMC or ICC for postponing their work, which is, I can relate because I worked as a technology transfer manager before. Because I don't know what ICC do. I don't know what RMC is doing. They've been sitting on my pattern for how many months already, and nothing happened, nothing moved. So this model will let you know that, okay, these are the processes involved that RMC or ICC will take in order to move the thing forward. It is not as straightforward as you think it could be. Okay. So as I mentioned, a general model, it is not always workable, but it is important for you for us to give you that these steps are involved so that you are aware of it. That, okay, these are the normal step that is incurred. So this is the traditional model. Researcher make a discovery, disclose invention to TTO. TTO here means technology transfer officer. Yeah. TTO evaluate the invention, decide on protection. Patent application for protection. Market technology, negotiating a license the technology, you create a spin-off or company take up the invention. So if you look at this process, as a researcher, where do you sit? You don't even reach number 4 yet. The best you do is number 1 saja. I can guarantee you. Can. Have you ever talked to your TTO? Tak pernah kan? See, it stopped at number 2 saja. So that is very important to have the awareness. Because I know as a researcher, what is our main criteria? Publication.
Changing.
Eh?
Changing.
It's already changing, eh?
Slowly.
Good. So we are not stopping you from publishing, but at least seek some advice like, okay, is there any commercial value here? If there is, you still can publish, but just hold on a bit. Yeah? So TTO in this case is very important as well to create the awareness. What is important is to have like big university like you guys are in. It's important for the RMC or ICC to have a roadshow to every faculty, just to let people know, okay, apart from the research, there are something else that you can think of in terms of commercialization. Yeah, we must create awareness that if you found something which you think has some commercial value, quickly come and talk to the TTO. If you don't talk to the TTO, which you bypass the entire formal tech transfer PUNIA process. You still can transfer your technology out, but when you have problems, don't come back to RMC or ICC. Yeah? I see that often.
Yeah.
Because they say, oh, they are slow, they are this, they are that. They have industrial need, industry want it quick, they also want to make a quick buck. So they involve in it, then when things happen, because no license NDA signed, no licensing signed, nothing signed, company promised you this and that, but
legal and all that.
yes.
Yeah.
So when things happen, and of course, it will go back to the TTO. Then TTO have to do the FBI investigation, what happened. But the core role is not to do the investigation, it's to facilitate the entire, making the process in a formal and controlled manner. one case, this researcher was working with a university down south. He's working with a university up north. So they have been collaborating all well, nice and dandy, filed patent with no legal agreement or nothing. Because university level they don't know. They just, because I know that person, they collaborated. Then they come to us, they want to commercialize. Then I got a letter from university up north claiming the right to the IP. So rather than I spend my effort in dealing with the commercialization side, I spend my time instead to iron out the very first step, which is the freedom to operate. Freedom to operate is a term that we use whereby, let's say I have the full freedom to operate, which means I have the full ownership of the IP. I can do whatever I want with the IP. If it's being shared, I don't have the full freedom to operate because I need your consent to commercialize it. So rather than focusing on commercialization, I have to iron out the issue. Okay? Now, then the TTO will evaluate it. Of course, I won't be going deep on how to evaluate it, but those are the process. Once you evaluate it, is patent application. I put patent application here, actually it's just IP protection. There is a lot of IP out there. I hope you guys know. Patenting process. The drafting will take around 2 to 3 months, depending on your patent nature. Drafting, the filing, drafting, and then you will get it filed, and then you will have to wait around. There is an express lane which is around 2 years. We pay a bit more, or you have to wait 2 to 3 years to get it granted. But there is a big but here. You don't have to wait until it's granted before you start commercializing. Are you guys aware of this? You tak perlu tunggu patent granted baru commercialize. Once you file, which means you are safe, then you can start your marketing, your commercialization. But in your licensing agreement, never ever give warranty or guarantee. I guarantee my patent will be granted, tak boleh. So don't wait. I get a very sad story to share. This old man, around 60 something, really 60 something, don't speak a word of English, don't speak a word of Bahasa, pure Cantonese. So I need to grab a colleague that can speak Cantonese. Into the came to the office with their invention, his invention. And when I look at the invention, patent is for 20 years, you guys know. So 20 years is only 3 years for expiry. So I say, why do you wait until now that you think of commercializing your product? So I waited it for to be granted. It took 6 years. 6 years to get it granted. So he waited that 6 years, and then of course he's bringing up his family and everything, so he didn't do anything about it. So what would be your best advice to them if you are faced with this kind of situation? Patent granted, yes, 3 years to go before being expired. Technology is already obsolete. So the best advice I can give is do not put in more money. Don't maintain it, just let it lapse. You know what is the technology? Technology is 3 LED. Merah, hijau, kuning. If you don't close your door in a car, it will beep. If your battery level is lower than whatever percentage, it will beep. And yeah, and if your key, if your headlamp is not off, then it will show. It's obsolete, right? Now you drop your key, all the indication came out already. So it's already obsolete. So no matter how, because that is, he didn't really know that you can commercialize straight away. Okay. Then marketing the technology to SME. negotiate the license. Are you guys aware of our licensing? Okay. Licensing is IP belongs to the university. Okay, IP belongs to universities, and then although you are the author, you don't own the IP. Yeah? That one, I hope everyone knows. That you are the author. Of course, you are governed by the IP policy. Your share will be there in terms of the revenue. So there are two ways how we can make money out of patent. First is outright sales. Second is licensing. I can give you a very simple example. Outright sales is jual rumah. You sell the entire thing. You tukar nama. Okay? It's a transaction. Then of course you need to value your asset. How much is IP lah? Licensing, which is the best model that we always encourage people to take, is licensing will be like sewa rumah. You have the asset, you don't make money out of it. You give it to someone else the right to make money out of it. People make money, they pay you in terms of royalty. So the best approach for university tech transfer and commercialization is through licensing. So often if you go to any expo, people will ask you, so how much you're selling? Then you I also but don't have that kind of hopefully after this sharing session, when you go to exhibition and people ask you how much, you say we can sit down and talk on the licensing fees. Licensing fees is very easy. It's straightforward, whereby they just give you a commitment fees of how much. You get the licensing, you get the deal done, whereby I give you the right. It will spell out where, exclusivity, all of that. I will go into it, but those are there are four main clusters that you have to know. One that is agreeable, you get it signed, they pay you an upfront fees of X amount. Normally, some practice will be just to recover the IP costs. Some of them they can check out a little bit. Then you are involved, because licensing is not a transaction, huh? Licensing is a collaboration. Because bear in mind, your technology is uncooked. You need the industry over there to cook it together with you to serve a good deal. So then it will be your product development stage. So you will be involved in a very intimate level. When that one is done, then they start selling, right? Then your money, they will pay you back in terms of royalty, a percentage of the sales. So that's how you get the money in. So as I mentioned before, it's a good retirement plan. Honestly, it's a good retirement plan. So negotiating the license is normally done by the university. License can manage out if you can create a spin-off or adapt existing technology, adopt the technology. Now, I'm not sure how active this university is on spin-off, but then spin-off is an entire game altogether. We can sit down and have a one-day chat on spin-off. It is not that easy because time needs to be invested into. And then running a business is not like running a research lab. Yeah. Because when you're running a business, you are lower than your customer. The customer is always on top. Whatever demand they want it now. So you have to respond to them. Running a research lab, especially as professors, you have your research. Yeah. So everything else can wait. You can be in Japan having your conference. Everything still works because the nature of the situation is different. Okay. So these are the common things. So the next few slides will go deep into all the steps, which I will skim through quickly because I think you guys will understand. Okay. So discovery of new technologies, normally technology transfer start with the discovery of new technology or new whatever funding that is. Okay, this is important. So disclosure is where you report your funding to the relevant, it could be ICC, it could be RMC. telling them, hey, I found something interesting, which you might look into. Is there any potential business potential out of that? Do you think there is a market for this one? So you must, it's an effort you must take to get them informed. In Oxford, this is my boss, Dr. Viresh, used to share with us. They follow one mantra. They only work with researcher that is interested in commercialization. Because if you're not interested, there's nothing we can do as TTO. There is absolutely nothing we can do. We cannot force you to do it. We cannot put you to your KPI. We cannot do anything. So in Oxford, the TTO is actually quite far from the main campus. It's around 8 miles away. So if a researcher can take the effort to travel the 8 miles to see a TTO, which means they are committed.
Yeah, it means something.
It means something that they want
They really
to go
want.
through the process.
And we must facilitate
Yes.
that person who really wants to.
Yes. When I was a TTO before, because going to exhibition, everyone wanted to go to exhibition. Geneva, everyone pergi kan. So everyone wanted to go. So when we through all this exhibition, we see, okay, these are good potential. So when we come back and we do the follow up, they're not bothered. So you have to ask yourself as a researcher, do you want it or not? If you don't want it, it's fine, there's nothing we can do. But if you want it, there are multiple benefits. First is financial. Second is your, whatever you want, the benefit that you claim in your research proposal is really being passed on to the people to benefit it. It's really, if you don't facilitate the entire or be involved in the entire process of transferring it, people cannot reap benefit out of it. Okay, so disclosure is very important. Of course, it's technology evaluation. This is where a lot of researchers get very disheartened. Like, why is not being patented? Why is not good? Why? So there's a lot of questions being asked, being thrown back to us, like, why are you not looking at my invention? You need to understand here that we do not give credit based on your academic credit. It could be a Nobel winner piece, but it is huge contribution to knowledge. But commercialization is time-based. It's the situation now, and it's very situation and time-based. So if you have a great invention, but you're ahead of your time, you still need 5 to 6 years to really make it happen. So of course you will not be given the priority. Yeah, it doesn't mean that your research is not good. It's just that you're ahead of time. Sometimes when you do your research, you of course you do the literature review, right, to ensure it's novel. But novelty in research journal is very different than novelty in the market. It's very, very different. So me myself tried before. If I want to research on something, I Google on my whatever, I can't remember the database. Scopus, I used to use Scopus. So yes, so I Google memang tak ada. But you try to search patent, we have a lot of patent. Because why? Anyone know what's the reason? Now, the thing is, academic, they publish within the academic journal. Industry, they make discovery, they don't care about contribution, they care about money. Where do they protect the invention? Patent lah. Yeah. So it's patent. So a lot of things that might be novel in when you do your scopus, it seems novel, but then when you do the patent search, it's already out there. So there's a huge difference. So don't be disheartened or sad when we say that, okay, unfortunately, due to the budget of the IP, we have to choose. This is a very practical and This is the problem that we face day in, day out. We cannot patent everything. Malaysia has gone through the phase of patenting everything. 5 years back, 5 or 10 years back, where the patenting punya awareness baru start. So they are given KPI to patent.
Oh, yes.
You are given KPI to patent. Patent lah. You don't have to pay what? So
It's
some
all
of
KPIs.
some of the university has been patenting, and every year on top of the league, they are producing like baking muffin. Betul. After 3 to 4 years time, then they realize it's a very expensive exercise.
To pay, right?
Okay, first year you have, let's say 20, you patent it. Second year you have 20, but you have to maintain every year. Now you have 40, in your portfolio. Third year, let's say you want to hit the record 30 again. 30, 20, 20 is already how much? And you have to maintain all of that. Millions, really. In the millions has been spent just to maintain those patents. So I think Malaysia has gone through that phase. So right now, the TTO, they are much more objective in evaluating IP. Okay? So that is on technology evaluation. Of course, how we evaluate is always revenue potential, licensing potential, academic field of invention, competitiveness, and extensibility. Extensibility means the technology can be extended to other fields. Anyone knows what is platform technology, what is an application technology? You all know, huh? So the example that I normally give is application technology is like a calculator. All it does is just calculate. A platform technology is like your smartphone. In your smartphone, you have your calculator, you have it's just apps. So they have multiple apps. So if you only have one budget for one IP, then one is platform, one is application. Of course, you choose platform application. Okay, technology evaluation. Example. Now, patent application. Every university will adopt their own way, their own SOP how to deal with it. Normally, there will be a panel judging the market value of that potential thing. So we won't go deep into that. But as a researcher, you don't have to be worried about this, because me myself has been doing tech transfer for 9 years. I don't know how to draft a patent anyway. That is not my work. That is also not your work. Yeah, patent agent will do it. All you need to do is to be aware of the timeline. So if they say they need 6 months to come out with patent, the problem is say no, don't give me that kind of. The most you can take is 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months to get drafted. Then once you get a patent, 18 months later, you must, if you want to go for PCT, you must make sure that they give you the notification to protect it in national base. So those are the timeline. And then, granted or not, is around 2 to 3 years, 2 to 5 years, depending on how well that particular patent has been drafted. Okay, so don't worry too much about patent. Okay, patent is one thing. There are a lot of IP out there which universities do not realize. You have patent, you have copyright, you have trademark, you have all sorts. The most that you've forgotten is your trade secret. You lupa, you just share. So what is important here is normally here in Malaysia we just license the IP. Let's say the patent, you license it out. But in order for you to use the IP, there are certain proprietary knowledge. Those can be licensed as well. So come to talk to the DITO and say, okay, apart from my patent, are there any trade secret? Be aware of that. Okay?
I just want to share a bit with the lecturers. In terms of copyright, right? How you can generate income. For example, I have copyright on my teaching models. For example, that I developed at UIA. Okay. And then University of Manchester would like to basically use some of those teaching models in developing classes in their university. What you can do is that to bring money, right? Is that you license that to University of Manchester because they want to use your teaching models. That already create a lot of income
Yes.
just from your teaching stuff, And that's already like even to the university, they go by these Myra points or whatever, for the status of the university. It's counted as like 0.5 Myra points already. If it's like 10,000 ringgit Malaysia only. And they're paying British pounds, that's like how many times, right, of our RM. So just to tell the lecturers, that these are your opportunities to actually bring income. As simple as that.
Be aware of copyright, be aware of trade secret, your trademark, if you are in electronic, then your circuit design, everything. Don't share too much. Okay. Now, marketing is the hardest thing to do in tech transfer because I'm not selling an end product. I'm selling a half-cooked product. So in marketing, what do you pitch here? You don't pitch the end product. Huh? You pitch the potential of your product. It's very, very important. To marketing in tech transfer is something that is not just technology push. When you engage with people, let's say you're on this expo and you engage with people, I observe there's a lot of pushing being done. They talk all about the technology. Actually, you just have to tell enough to have the conversation and then ask them, actually, what is it that you're looking at? Then you skew your thing towards the need. Because everyone likes to talk about themselves, right? So if the industry come to you, you ask them, so what are your company doing? What do you think, what is your focus area? What are you trying to achieve? Then you will see whether you have the potential or not. It really makes a difference. Yep. Marketing, there are several ways you can do it. Platcom will help in marketing as well. They are passive and they are active. The passive one is we will come, we will do the IP census, we will conduct soon. We look at your research output, everything, and when we will produce a one-pager profile. Our one-pager profile are layman tech profile. We call it tech profile. Tech profile is very different from your academic writing. Tech profile is meant for laymen to understand. So more on what the technology does, rather than how the technology did it. So let's say an engine. I will market it in a way of, okay, this engine use biofuel and it can go from 0 to 100 in how many seconds, rather than this machine employ double combustion mechanism that involve the emulsifying of water and oil in 70 to 20%. Burning efficiency is how much? You see where I'm coming from? It's very different. So we will come out with a tech profile and help you to market it. Passive way is to put it on our website. The active one is from time to time we will organize an event called the immersive event. It's thematic. For example, okay, let's say this quarter we are doing something on petroleum, oil and gas. So we will collect all the tech, oil and gas related technology, and we only invite oil and gas people. And let's say it's on electronic, we will only invite electronic people. So that is an active marketing that Platcom can extend our assistance to all the researchers. Okay, that is on marketing. Negotiate a license. Negotiate a license normally is quite simple. Of course, there are no fixed way of doing it. You need to know what rights are you giving it. Is it exclusive or non-exclusive? Exclusive means that particular tech, you can only license that to one particular technique. company. Non-exclusive means to everybody. So exclusive means you can only rent it to this particular person can use the room. If it's non-exclusive means testing, anyone can come in and use the room and make money out of it. Exclusive, how much is the upfront payment? A lot of deals did not go through when upfront is too high. One of the universities in Malaysia, normally they charge the range of 200 to 300,000 upfront, which tak boleh jadi lah. We are killing a company. These are upfront money. Upfront money is like mas kahwin, is it? Like you give the commitment to that person, so it will be low, but it can be substituted by your higher royalty based. Yep. So negotiate license. Don't negotiate it yourself. Bring someone from RMC to be there to carry it through, because there are certain term sheet that we have to look at. Yeah, which is don't get turned off by it. It is a normal process. So just be aware of these other terms: exclusivity, how much the upfront, how much the royalty, what other territory, what other right that you're granting that particular company. Okay. So licensing out. So either you can license it out or you outright sales. Outright sales is kind of hard. It's also kind of risky. It's good for technology provider, but it's not good for technology recipient. But bear in mind, you are not here to just make money. You are here to make sure whatever you research, your output benefit people. So if it doesn't work and you transfer all the risk to the company, you don't do the company any good justice. So what is important here is it's very rare that we go through the licensing, the outright sales, unless some of the companies they are really confident the technology can work, then they go for outright. Because outright is clean cut. You believe something, then you don't care what it is anymore. So they don't have the right to look into your account or do whatever sales with it. Okay, but it's very rare case in Malaysia. You can license it to a company, or you can create your own spin-off. That's pretty much it for me to share with you. So the inaccuracy, these are more academic. These are for TTO to understand, but not for researcher. So what you need to know here, the takeaway for today's session is commercialization is not that complicated. There are few steps that you can follow, that you know what are the next steps. And then do not expect all technology to go through the same route, which I will share with you is this is very important. Very, very important for you to understand. Tech transfer is a very dynamic and fluid activity. So if you look at this model, the formal linear model is you do the discovery, you disclose it. Once disclosed, they evaluate, they protect. Once they protect, they market it. When they market, they negotiate the license again to existing firm or spin-off. That is the linear. Huh? So here, goes there, goes down. That's the linear model. But in real case, anything. I've seen most of this. So whereby some researchers, they are skeptical of, they don't want the formal mechanism, they go them by themselves. Still can, but then your first is risky. You're not protected in any way. If you did it wrong, you did it wrong. If you're really good in commercialization, you know what to take on, then you can go ahead. But bear in mind, if you go the informal route, your success is not being recorded. It's not being recorded, cannot be shared. So you don't benefit the rest of the researcher. You don't inspire them in any way. So my suggestion is you go through This should you must follow. Okay. Here you let the TTO to decide how it goes. Because sometimes once they evaluate it straight away, they know that this particular company is interested. So they straight away market it to the company, and then in the licensing, they'll even transfer the protection expenses to the company. So things happen many ways. Any questions?
Now what is the job in Malaysia? Mostly the job, the people in university in a valley and company in another valley.
Yes.
This is the big problem that we face.
That is always been there. We call it Valley of Death.
Yeah.
That's the Valley of Death.
So I think
So Platcom will come in to facilitate this.
that
Our gap is the Valley of Death.
mostly maybe you know the latest technology, but unless you know what is the real problem that is in the company or in the field, okay, then all your research will be targeted. Unless we do a lot of research on them, there is no reason just to make our interest or case. Number one. Number two, most university they are raising in publication, and this is the killer of the innovation and other things. Because as much as you publish, mostly the people in business they take the thing, and this is happening with many of the professors I know them. Okay, so as much as you show the thing, then the people can take it, and you know. In the third world, the people, they, especially in the industry, they need to take everything free. They are not bothered about you. This is, as much as we can work and put some maybe way, maybe gap, this
The gap.
the gap between the industry and university, so we can know what's there. Second, as you mentioned, less publication, because since I work in this one and I know the targets there, or the company, they work with me, so always maybe they go to protect it, because this is their product will be, okay?
Yes.
I think this will be more useful for us
Actually,
instead of.
I agree with Prof. Actually, there's a mismatch of expectations. Actually, when you expect researchers, right, to do publications the same level as you do commercialization, you know, like people have different talents, right? There are researchers. This is my personal view, to improve the condition in Malaysia as a whole. You know, some researchers might more of a type of the typical researcher, research in lab, publish, and they like doing that type of stuff, right? Some researchers, they have that more of industry. They're out there, they're doing the work. They might not publish a lot, but they're, engaging with the industry and so forth, right? But if we put our KPIs as your KPI is just the number of publications you're producing, right? For people like me as a researcher or prof, to put that extra time to push the same level that you would achieve in your publications, in your commercialization, at the end of the day will be two grumpy people, right? Very grumpy and bitter, because you can't do that as as someone to achieve excellence in those two at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, like, I would love to commercial. I know a lot of our researchers do, but I know a lot of researchers who don't want to do, right? So the options for them, fine, you don't want to do, right? Your requirement heavy in the publishing, that's what you like to do. But the issue, like Prof said, right? Once you publish, right? Like, I work in the Purdue University. The first thing they ask, do you have publications on this? Is a good idea. One of our work with NASA even got invalidated, not fit for patent anymore, because it has been heavily not even published, presented in a conference repeatedly. And that's one of the KPIs mismatch in requirements of KPIs to the researcher, in my opinion, is what hindering. Say you're asking commercialization, but you're asking this. It cannot work like this. You tug. It's like one person, someone pulling us this hand, another person pulling us another hand. One day we're just gonna crack. So I think that has to be understood first, even at the level of those who make policy for the researchers. And so I'm seeing it because this is a live thing, and I think everybody should hear this view, right? Because my intention is to help the university propel and to fit whatever the government and national agenda is, right? So I think that has to be solved also at the level of university level, so that like the prof said, there are brilliant professors and even young our young academics who might already have a compelling product that's suitable for commercialization. When you want to write, you won't go into Science or Nature, for example, which is a high level publication, right? So I think that has to be done. So I agree with the prof. It's a struggle.
Another thing is very strange why Malaysia takes so long to get this patent. 4 years or 5 years. What you do as you mentioned, obsolete, especially with this technology. While we can see in some other countries within a few months they can get it. So is there some way, maybe those people who work in or license this IP, work harder and maybe get the license with it, not more than 1 year.
The best Malaysian case right now is 2 years, which is the expedite route. Yeah, and it is, yeah, but this is not a common problem. This is not a unique problem to Malaysia. Elsewhere, it's also the king. Yes. Yes, yes. No, it won't be
The country doesn't have much application.
Yes.
They go faster.
Because the process involved.
They get it from US. Some people less than 1 year they get from US.
Officially,
Well,
they are
well,
getting only
I wait 5 years then.
But I think in this case, you can, like what Dr. Ng said, in terms of it is effective as long as you file. Filing date is what we're looking for.
This information can vary less. The information that you mentioned to it or they mentioned also later is very less.
A lot of
In the
people
beginning,
misunderstood
nothing.
about patent actually.
Yeah.
A lot of academics actually, I found they don't even understand what is the patent, what is this, what is in effect, But I think it's because, we're just start moving towards that. But it's just that, a lot of our, especially the senior professors, for example, their research are more mature and so forth. Because they've been years in the field, right? So I think even their work, maybe some of them can be expedited, like in a fast route in comparison to like someone who's just starting and do not have all the, research done at this stage. So I don't know.
So I don't know, this is part of your responsibility, maybe you can facilitate it. You can arrange maybe some, you can say, ministerial visit. Now we have the students going to but what about the professor or lecturer? Took them to the field, they can see what's there, they can negotiate with them, they can discover the problem, then they can bring it to the university, and I think this is a good way to bridge this gap. Because they are in field and I'm in another field. We have to go there and see what is going on.
True. Knowing what is in the industry is very, very relevant. There is also one expectation I want to share is that research can take 3 years, commercialization can also take 3 years. It happens. I facilitated a technology which has been there for the past 5 years. At the end, it's being taken up after 5 years. This is when I mention it, it sounds obsolete, but then it's something that we have it in Malaysia right now. Is paying your parking through SMS. So when I present this, everyone was like, "Oh, come on, no one uses SMS right now, right? It's all smartphone." But when we really sit down and look into the data, our smartphone penetration in Malaysia is growing, but then it's not there. It's not as high as 80 or 90% yet. So huge percentage of our population is using SMS. Yeah, and this technology has been there, well researched for the past, I think, minimum 6 years. So the entire process took 6 to 7 years for us to get it into the market. In that process, we tried 3 licensing companies. They signed to try working on it, it didn't work. Second company signed, it didn't work. Third company, lastly, it works. And now they are penetrating all the municipalities right now. Even go to extent of paying taxes, everything through. So when we think about it, right, like, come on, it's already obsolete, but then that is the time required. But to research that payment through SMS is a project Sarjana Muda, the final year students project, which is done in half a year. But the commercialization, because what we have to go through bank and Arab before, we have to go through all of that. So 6 years is the time. And this is my own experience, my own pride to say that I have seen how this technology from no one looking at it into something that people. So let's say you park your car and then you're in the bank, it's almost your turn, and then your parking is so you can use SMS. So it benefits people. But the journey took 6 years. I have to go to see Bank Negara, I have to go to see municipalities across Malaysia. I have to engage 3 companies. We have Mesin Niaga, one of them, which is huge, but almost signed but didn't make. Everything is there, you know. We done the field study, everything there, not signed. Simply because management took our direction. Change of direction from senior management. Nothing we can do about it. Then we try another company. At the end, we try a startup company. It works. So now I think in Pantan, in the East Coast. Yeah. So that is just to share an expectation of it's not as quick as we want it to be.
And not even one model fits all.
Yes.
So many different models. But here's the thing about that. It's like if it's good for researchers to know that there's different ones. Like there's not one path. I mean there's so many paths route to go, and that one model doesn't fit all.
Yes.
But sometimes I think in terms of commercialization, you know, the struggles and so forth are not often shared. We often heard like success story, wow, the person becomes this, we don't know the details, what has been going through, the struggles, which actually needs to be shared more than actually even just the success.
Yes.
You know, like for example, if you read about even Elon Musk and his PayPal, right? Staying at a free place, you know, working day night like a dog, you know, like just to start that, and then suddenly it just happened because it was at the right time and at the right moment of that needs such thing, right? So sometimes stating to researchers, for example, okay, sometimes research they want to do carefully, especially fundamental work has to be done carefully. But then when I first started to think about commercialization, I met my business friends and they were like, Amani, you overdoing and overthinking.
Yeah.
As a researcher, it's the first thing they said to me. Academics like this, overthink, very detailed, good for research and publication. But you know, the glucose sensor market shoots up, not because someone's put too much, you know, It's a crude technology. If you look at the glucose sensor billion dollar market, it's a very crude technology. Even all of the sensors which I test, all the glucose sensors that I test, they are off by few numbers. They're not even perfect, but it's there. And 4 huge companies is like holding it, right? A billion dollar market. So to transition from that perfection as a researcher to something, look, it doesn't need to be that to be marketable. There's demand, like it's quite tough actually. It was a huge leap for a researcher, but once you do that leap actually and you understand, then it's just smooth right there.
Yeah.
You have that frame of thought already.
So it's important to have the awareness. You can be who you are, continue to do your research. You just share the information with the TTO. The TTO will then bring it forward. But of course with your input all the time. Because I cannot expect you as a researcher, as a professor who have PhD student, master student, however more commitment outside to do the selling, to do the pitching. It's kind of hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, but have an understanding that okay, it can be done. There are support out there for you to do that.
And also questions from researcher. This is a very famous question actually in common amongst students. They will say, if they have a very good something, a good product, okay, or they want to commercialize, and they will ask one question, okay, what is it in for me?
Yeah.
Now, it's always like that. It's normal, right? Because they put all the hard work, their sweat and tears into something, right? Sometimes a researcher asks is only for have some money to go back to their research laboratories, some money to pay their students, for example, because grants are hard to get by these days, right? Do you see any working model that has happened in other universities from your experience?
It all goes back to your IP policy. It really goes back to the IP policy. How many percentage? Because we are the facilitator, we cannot go into the university level and mingle with the IP policy. If the university do not have an IP policy yet, it is very rightful for the management to adopt one. Which the best one to adopt, which is the most common one you can adopt, is the mostly IP policy. It clearly state out how many percent goes to the department, how many percent goes to the inventor, how many percent goes to the university. Clear cut. So you can adopt that, then researcher will be okay.
For example, visualization policies that 70% goes to the inventor, 30% goes to the university.
Yeah.
So I think that is 70%. But you it's much higher than that. You
Same thing.
Yeah, in UIA we have 80%, 80% to the inventor.
There you go.
20% to
recently
the
I have
university.
one of the you can doing this IC technology, some platform technology. It's a combination of all the IP software in one system. So they license to one company and there's another oil and gas company also so they already licensed to upfront for 70,000. Very small number, but oil and gas is a big market. So the royalty in the future is
So follow your IP policy, then you know what is it in it that you can work on. But sometimes I would say, we often in a very comfortable place. You can say million, whatever, I don't care because I don't see it. So one of the story that our boss shared with us is one of the professor, he managed to make some money out of commercialization. So the commercialization arm has been doing the marketing since forever, but no one really gives attention. So what this professor did was he buy a flashy red Ferrari or some sport car and park it in front of his office. So everyone was looking, whoa, nice car, where do you get the money to get this? And then he shared, okay, I get it from commercialization. Because people see the car in front of them, then there is an influx of inquiries at the TTO office.
Post return from commercialization.
Yes. Then people feel it, people see it. If not, I say royalty 70%, 80%. we don't care, right? But if you see it, then it's the case. Okay, I think if there is no more other question, then let's pass it to Nizam. Yep. Apologies, I have to make a move because I'm heading down to Kuantan. Okay?
That's fine, Doctor. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next slide, you visit to the university.
Yes. So actually, I prepared one slide on branding and halal, but I'm not going to go into that yet. I'd like to walk you through what Platcom is about, what Dr. Ng has mentioned just now, and what we have achieved. Later on, I'll go into branding and halal. Okay? Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Professor, doctors, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here and thank you for inviting us. And thanks to Dr. Ng just now for the introduction and also some technical training in terms of, I wouldn't say training, it's a sharing session on technology licensing and those kind of things. So I'd like to quickly walk you through what Dr. Ng has mentioned just now about Platcom Ventures. So I'm Izam. Platcom Ventures is actually the national technology commercialization platform of Malaysia. So if you can see here, that's why there's a small a here. So Platform for Technology Commercialization of Malaysia. So that is what Platcom means. All right. So we are helping universities, like Dr. Ng mentioned just now, PRIs, industry, individuals, and also the grassroots to actually bring their innovation to be commercialized. Okay, take it into market. Right. So the main core function of Platcom is to support all these innovative Malaysian SMEs or innovations coming from public research institute and university. And then we help to see how we can assist in terms of commercialization. So that is our core focus. Like Dr. Ng mentioned just now, our core is in technology transfer and commercialization. Right, these are the two. How we do tech transfer, as Dr. Ng mentioned, we have innovation business opportunity. Okay, I would like to share, Rizal here, my colleague Rizal, is the relationship manager for IIUM. So this is where IBO comes in. Innovation business opportunity is where we will go to universities and PRIs, and then we look into technologies, innovation, inventions from the university. We do some evaluation, we do our analysis, and then we do a report and come up with this tech profile that Dr. Ng mentioned, and we will then promote it for free, right? So it's not chargeable or what, it's a national, we are doing it for national interest. Okay, so we are helping the university, help it promote two ways, active and passive ways. All right, so active is where the relationship manager, if they identify, okay, certain highly potential innovation, and then they identify the industrial partners, and they will sit these two parties and then do some matchmaking. All right. Of course, with the consent of both sides. Then, the second one is the high impact program too. This is the matching grant that Dr. Ng mentioned. This is where if a company, in our case, we are looking at SME, Sendirian Berhad and BLT, if they are interested in any of your technology from the university, or if they have their own innovation technology IPs that they want to further develop and bring it to market, we can actually provide some funding as well. But it is not just a funding scheme. It is actually an end-to-end facilitation program. right? What we do is, yes, funding is part of it. We can fund up to a certain amount, but the core of this program is to help this company. If, for example, they are interested in technology A from IIUM, we can actually pay for that licensing upfront, licensing fee, and then for the company to have the right to further develop and bring it to market. And of course, when they are talking about commercialization, there are a lot of costs and barriers, right? Not just in terms of funding. Yes, you need to do certification, you need to do testing, you need money to do it. But some companies, they have taken your technology, but they are stuck. They don't know where to go. Okay, they don't know what kind of certification is needed. They don't know. Okay, for example, if they need SIRIM or they need any certification halal, for example. So this is where our commercialization specialist comes in, and then we will advise the company and the university who they partnered with, and then help them along the way, right, and bring it to market. This is the platform that I mentioned just now. This is the what do you call that, passive platform. It's basically on our website under IBO. So we after we have screened through all this technology, okay, we have screened through and then we have selected highly potential ones, and we will then promote it on our platform. This is accessible throughout the world, of course. And some of the technologies, we have interest and inquiries coming in from all over the world, some Netherlands, China, UK, for example. And we are actually working with one of the Singaporean company to actually license out the technology from Malaysia to this Singaporean technology company.
Before I think
No, we won't disclose. All this technology must be protected. Okay, one thing you need to know is in Malaysia, you have 12 months after your first disclosure for you to file for IP, right? You have that that time frame. But across the world, there's no such thing as, they call it, what do you call it? Buffer period or something, okay? But only in Malaysia, we have this 12 months. So for example, if you attend this trade show or some conferences, you presented, you must quickly, within 12 months, file for a patent, if it's a patent, or if it's a copyright, for, so on and so forth. So you must remember, so first disclosure, yes. So otherwise, first disclosure, and then 12 months lapse, you cannot file anymore because it's already disclosed, right? Cannot be protected anymore. So this is the passive promotion that we mentioned. So Riza will be doing for IIUM, and then we, with your consent, of course, there are certain forms need to be filled in, and then we will promote on our website. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So
before you put here, you evaluate first.
yes, we will evaluate, select only the best one. Not to say all innovation are good, but in terms of commercial potential, IP potential, those kind of things.
In the context of local.
Yes, local and global. So we are looking at both. Yes, yes. Okay, that's one. That's IBO. So second one is the funding program that I mentioned. So not just funding, it's end-to-end facilitation. So it can come from idea stage research, not to say early research, but at least something that came out from R&D. Okay, and then you need to do some prototyping, and you need to do IP protection, and later on you need to do licensing and up to product deployment into the market. So we can actually help along the process of commercialization. So it's not just you need to have a ready product, then only you come to us. No. Okay, but in the university point of view is that we are helping you in terms of promoting your technology, evaluating your technology, select the best one, and then look for potential buy-ins from the industry. Okay, yes, it is more of a technology push, but of course, the commercialization specialists in Platcom, we will identify what are the needs from the industry. Then only we will do the matchmaking. All right. Okay. This high impact program is only can only be applied by SMEs. So Sendirian Berhad and also PLT. And along the commercialization pathway, the value of death or whatsoever they call it, funding is not just one of the factor. Okay, in order for you to commercialize, maybe you don't have, like I mentioned just now, you don't know access in terms of having certain facilities. You don't know where can you do certain testing. You always thought that, oh, okay, I need to do this testing, then I will need this equipment. I need to buy this equipment and do it in-house. No, in order for you to go fast in the commercialization pathway, what you do is you identify. For example, if other university is doing the testing and you want it fast, you just hire them, right? That's how we can actually help. We will help you to identify all this. And then
What do you mean by hire them?
hire them. Okay, for example,
You just
project basis.
send to them for testing.
Yes, exactly.
To
For testing or for whatever purpose, or it can be a contract research kind of things as well. So if a company, for example, from a company point of view, they have this problem, they need IIUM, for example, you have the expertise. So you can actually do the research for them, so they can hire you. And they can apply for this funding from us. We will pay them, and then they'll pay
But
you.
then it's the initiative coming from the company, not from the researcher, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But we can do it the other way around as well.
Okay.
Yes, but it has to be owned. But the money can only be channeled to this company. Yeah.
Okay.
So a licensee or an interested party, the company itself,
Yeah.
will need to be there first,
Alright.
or we can actually
So the
help you fund.
spearhead is still the company.
Yes,
not the
exactly.
researcher.
For HIP2, there's two programs that I mentioned just now. IBO is yes solely for universities, but HIP2 is solely for SMEs.
Oh,
But we are helping both sides. That's how we try to match make and try to make these two parties
That's-
talk to each other.
the HIP to go also for startup?
Yes, yes, it's open for all kind of industries, and then as long as the company is it's a small and medium enterprise, it must be a Sendirian Berhad with a paid up capital of minimum 10,000. And it has to be a Malaysian majority owned company. That's it, 51% minimum. Right, 10,000 minimum paid up capital. Okay, so these are some of the things that we can actually assist in terms of HIP2. Just to share our performance since our 20 months since our birth in May 2014. We actually started April 2014. So from May 2014 to December 2016, we have screened 800 companies and innovation. We have shortlisted 130 projects, and we have actually enrolled 110 innovation and companies into our program, HIP2 program. And as you can see here, this is the IBO part. We have done 170 IP transfers, so technology transfer. So this is the licensing deals. We have done 170. It's coming from UKM, IIUM, LabPen, for example. Yes. And we have few more last year, right, from IIUM. 5 for Hala High Tech second year. Yep. So
Azura, Prof. Hamza,
yes.
Prof.
Irwandi, yes. Prof. Irwandi was the first one last time. Okay. And so far, 21 innovation has been commercialized, right? These are just the KPI. I wouldn't share all this, but total funding that we have committed for these 110 companies so far is 51.1 million. 55.1 million, sorry. 55.1 million. And then the matching portion, this is coming from the company. This is coming from the company, 38.9 million. Yeah? This is just our global footprints. We have collaborations all over the world. We haven't updated this. So Netherlands, Russia, so on and so forth. Right. Just to quickly share with you the product commercialized. This is one of our commercialized product. One of the first approved into the program. So this person here, this individual, Andy, they came to us just with an idea. but then they don't know, he doesn't know how to actually move forward with this idea. So our IP team and our commercialization team has actually helped them, and I advised this company, and they are now selling in China, Singapore, and Vietnam. So within a 2-year punya development work, right? The second one, I'll just go quickly. This one is a company from Penang. So they come out with this oil water fryer. So normally you do deep frying. It's like you have to dip the whole whatever you want to fry into the oil, right? And then after a few times you're using, the oil will turn dark, and you have to remove the oil 3 to 4 times. But this one, for example, the oil will be on top, but it will be floating on top of water. All right. So whatever debris or remnants from the frying will go into the water and then be filtered out. So basically, the oil maintained fresh and can be used up to 8 to 10 times. So in terms of commercial value, it's very high potential, and then saving cost as well. Okay, for example, restaurants, those kind of things. So good idea. They have sold quite a unit, and they are going into R&Rs in Malaysia. So along our highways. It's very good. Okay, this one is an example from University Malaya. They have commercialized this. This is actually a smart real-time monitoring system for OT, operating theaters. Right, so it's very technical, but they have this is CBMTI is actually a spin-off company of UM. All right, so this is an example of spin-off company of the university. So they licensed in the technology from university, and then they further develop and they commercialize it. Right, this is the thing that we are trying to do with IIUM as well. Of course, yes, you want a Halal High Tech Challenge and so on and so forth, but we are looking to do more and help you more with this kind of commercialization. So this is PAL testing. Previously, you need to do PAL testing. You need to do the piling and then place some blocks. Okay, 500 tons blocks or whatever the weight is, and then leave it there and see if there's earth movements. But this one, you can do it with within a shorter period of time, and just by using this equipment. Okay, they are also selling. They are in negotiation. I think going to close deal with Brunei already. So it's yes, it's very good technology. Okay, this one Pure Spectrum. It's basically this was one of the first. You can actually use SIM card, use it on your phone, and also use it on the public phone. So their target market is basically the school students, especially the boarding schools. Okay, so they cannot bring their phones, their handphones. So what they can do, they can just bring their SIM card, but then they can slot it into the public phone at the office. Then they can call or text, both call and text. It sounds very simple, but it caters to a certain need. Okay. And this one, Mif Clay, one of the winner of Halal High Tech Challenge, the first one, they came out with these clay-based products, right? This one, same one, wound care product from mangosteen pericarp. They're selling very well. This one, they have been selling in US, Australia. They have just graduated this year actually, but they have commercialized. Right, and this one in so some of the companies or universities, they came to us and they say, do you have a particular industry that you look into? Because some of the funding agency or the agency out there, they only look at for example, ICT or agriculture, those kind of things. No, we don't. This is why we are sharing all these success stories to let you know that we are not our focus is not limited to any industry. So we can look into agriculture, medical, or any kind of industry as long as there's IP potential, commercial potential to it. All right. This one seems simple as well. It's multi-seedler. So instead of doing one by one, the seeding process, you can actually just do it 50 pieces at one time, in one go. So you can actually reduce the amount of time spent. These are the Osman brothers with the minister. Right. This is the Park Easy. Park Easy is one of the apps. Okay, this is the ICT. Right, so for example, if you are going to KLCC and you want to book yourself or reserve yourself a parking, this is the technology. They came out with this hardware and also software, so an application, phone application, where you can actually book and pay. And then it will be you will be directed directly to that spot that have been reserved for you. Of course, there's certain time frame that you need to arrive there when by when. Okay, it's very good. So your car number will be displayed there, right? So people cannot simply park there. It has been installed in some parkings in Sunway and also Avenue K, KLCC, right? And also one more in one of the convention center in Bukit Jalil, Calvary, if I wasn't mistaken. Yes, Calvary Convention Center. All right, that's about Platcom. I'll go into the next slide. It's about branding. Okay. I was asked previously. I presented the same slide to UMK. I was asked, why are you telling us about branding? We are universities. We come up with innovation. We come up with inventions. We come up with papers. Why do we need to know about branding? All right. So my answer is that branding is not only applicable to the companies, but as researchers, I myself was a researcher from UITM, right? So as researcher, before you can actually sell whatever research or innovation or invention that you have, products that you have, you need to package it and have some kind of branding, okay, in order to actually appeal, okay, and attract some attention from the industry or whoever the stakeholder is, right? If you are targeting into winning some competition, some Geneva conference, those kind of things, of course, branding is one of the things. So I'd like to talk about branding. What is a brand? A brand is basically anything. It can be a mark, a name, a logo, or anything that represents your product, your innovation, your invention, or your solution, any kind of things, or can even be your name. If you are a researcher, you are an expert in this field, you want to sell yourself, you want to sell your expertise, so you brand yourself. For example, Dr. Izam Shah, people will know me in terms of this. Okay, that is actually a brand as well. So this is just something to share with you. So not just in terms of coming out innovation, invention, research, but you can actually sell your consultancy. You can sell your expertise as well. So you have created your names, you have publications. That is what that is already a branding. Okay, you have something to, some facts, some papers to actually back whatever branding you have there. Okay, right. The brand tells the world. The brand tells the world who you are. Okay. For example, iPhones. Very simple. You look at Apple, incomplete Apple. So you know it's actually a phone brand or a laptop brand, a computer brand, those kind of things. So a brand, as the moment you look at it, it will convey the message or whatever you are trying to actually tell your crowd, your clients. Branding, for example, these two main branding, main logos, it's very popular in Malaysia. Not just in Malaysia, of course, in across the world. But in Malaysia itself, when you see Petronas, you know that what they are selling. So you won't see like the logo of Petronas, then you say they are selling nasi lemak. Okay, you know they are selling petrol, oil and gas solutions or whatever they are offering. And then Air Asia, you look at that, you know it's actually an affordable airline. Okay, where everyone can fly. So. Just to share with you, I know you're professors, doctors, lecturers, but based on our experience as well, these are the elements for you to actually have in your brand. You need to have the idea. What is the idea that you are putting out there, and tell your client or your stakeholder what's the idea, what is it about. Then you need to have a mission. Why do you need this brand? This branding is for what? For you to win some competition, for you to sell your product, for you to commercialize, or whatsoever the mission is. And then it has to come with certain features. All right. So, for example, iPhone 6. What are the additional features? Camera, certain megapixel of camera, and you can do certain functions. So those are the features. And quality. When you have that brand, you want people to actually acknowledge that the brand represent quality as well. So, for example, if you are selling your consultancy, all right, you're selling your name, you're selling your expertise. You want to be backed by your research as well, your paper publications. So people are confident with the quality of work that you are offering. Okay, and then how do you measure? It's very simple. Of course, the measurement is complicated, but the simplest way is when whatever you are trying, the perception that you're trying to tell people, and your client actually get that the same perception, then that is a good brand that represents successful branding. Okay, steps to create a brand. I think we don't have to go through this. Basically, you need to have a product, a name, logo, and then you go to market, right? And this is some of the value I just want to share. So the value for oil and gas, this is 2016 data. For Petronas logo, the value of the brand is 2 billion. Yeah. Yes, it's 2 billion actually, 2 billion US dollar. So for example, a brand itself, when you have a brand, right? Sometimes you can actually license out your brand as well. For example, what do you call that? Disney. They have this Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, they have actually protected that, trademark that. Okay, that belongs to Disney. But you can see, right, the merchandise, the shirts, the whatever kids toys or stationaries. You cannot simply put Disney logo there. You cannot simply put Mickey Mouse there. So you can actually, they can actually license out to you for the right for you to produce whatever you want to produce, and then you can sell it, and then they earn royalty. This is where you can actually learn from it as well. So whatever you have now, you go back and think, oh, I have this expertise. I have, like, for example, you have these modules, you or teaching modules. You wanted to actually sell it. So you try to identify which can be sold, can be licensed out, and generate some incomes, not just for you, for the universities as well, and for the country. Okay, all right. These are example local brands. When you see Ramly, you know it's burger. You know Hang Tuah, you know it's kopi, and so on and so forth. Right. This is the same. I wouldn't go into this. Right. This is just to share. Funding for SMEs, because our mandate is for SME to help SME.
Funding for the branding.
No. This is moving. Okay, let go of branding now. Now we are moving into another topic.
Okay.
This is in terms of funding, right? Why is it important for you? Is that, for example, of course, you are from the university. Sometimes you attend conferences or events, and you meet industry players, right? And probably there's some collaboration, or they are interested to take in your technology, but they don't know, they maybe are lacking in terms of funding. So at least you have some idea. Oh, maybe you can go to Platcom, you can go to this kind of agency, you can get this kind of help, those kind of things. So it is important for you to be aware of all these assistance program, right? This the definition of SME. I think it's not very important. It's very important for the companies, but for universities, it's just in terms of funding. So maybe if you want to take a snapshot, but I will share this slide with you as well. So if it's at early stage, pre-seed, we can actually, okay, Platcom is here and also here. CCGF is also Platcom. We can fund the early pre-commercialization stage, right? So for example, if you have idea or you have early prototype, you have POC, proof of concepts. and you want to license out to companies, and companies can actually further develop and bring it to market, you can come to us. We can offer our funding as well. Yes, CCG, a concept to commercialization gap fund. And then if you are at growth stage, you can go to MTDC. So there are many kind of funding agency available in Malaysia. But if you are not sure, you can ask Rizal. Rizal can actually direct you to the, or introduce you to the right person. Okay, we have a network of agencies in Malaysia. Right. This is the same slide as I shared just now, so I'll skip this one. And now we go into halal. I think halal is very simple. I'm sure you are very familiar with halal as well. So halal in Malaysia, this is just a chronology of event for halal. It started in 1974. Basically, previously there's no halal certification in Malaysia. 1974, what was introduced is just a halal statement. So you can place this product is considered halal, that kind of some kind of a statement, and then it evolved along the way. 2005, they established the Halal Hub division, and then at one point the halal certification was taken over by another agency, but then later on it was given back. The mandate was given back to JAKIM. And then they actually evolve, and then now they have the Malaysia. They have the Halal Malaysia certification. Previously, they call it Halal JAKIM. They call it Halal name, but now it's Halal Malaysia. Okay, these are just to share the pictures of the first 4 directors of Halal Hub division of JAKIM. Right now is Dr. Sirajuddin here. Haja Hakimah is I have the opportunity to work with these 2 directors. So it's very interesting kind of industry because people get I don't know, it's a bit kind of sensitive in Malaysia when you talk about halal. And I was always I have been always asked by these directors. They mentioned, can you please tell everyone halal is very simple. As long as you follow the teaching, everything is halal except whatever written in the Quran. Of course, the 2, alcohol and also pork derived kind of things. As long as it's not these 2, it's considered halal. Okay, JAKIM will never say a certain things is haram. Like for example, recently went viral a certain product, chocolates. They are considered okay. They have this they don't have halal logo from JAKIM, but they have some other organization overseas. Okay, they have this halal logo, and then so someone actually create a story and say JAKIM say it's haram. So it's very important that Dr. Sirajuddin actually asked me if I have this kind of session just to share. No, JAKIM never say it's haram. What's important is that you check the logo. Okay, first one, logo, if there's no Halal Malaysia logo, that's fine. You see if there's another organization, and you can check online on JAKIM website. JAKIM has certified about 40 something, they call it certification bodies, okay, CBs, across the world. So for example, CICOT, CICOT, Thailand, so MUI in Indonesia. So as long as these JAKIM recognized certification bodies, they have certified all this product with for being halal, then that's fine for you. You can be confident and consume it. All right. This is the certification. Pardon me, is in Bahasa. So the halal certification, there's 2 main, just to share with you, the 2 main documents is the Malaysian standard. Okay, depending on what kind of scheme it is, and the other one is the manual MPPHM. Okay, we call it Manual Prosedur Pensijilan Halal Malaysia. All right, so this is the 2 main documents needed. Right, this is just example of the halal certification. Yes, yeah, and then this is the logo, right? So this one of this is the CICOT logo. So The most common one is, I think, CCOT, MUI. Yeah. So it is acceptable. It is halal. So you can consume with confidence. All right?
Because you have to know Thailand export a lot of food.
Yes, exactly.
So they're very famous. I don't know.
All right. So just to share with you, this is one of my last slide in when we are talking about halal schemes. There are 7 schemes so far. They are developing a new one in medical device. So if you are in that kind of field, later on you can actually apply for halal certification for your medical device. Right now they have in F&B, food premises, slaughterhouse, excuse me, usable item, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and logistic. Right. Yep. I think that's all in terms of branding, halal, and some sharing in terms of funding. So, any questions?
So those fundings you are showing is because we can apply anytime. There is no deadline. Nothing.
Okay. No. For our funding, we know it's open throughout the year. Yes. But for other fundings, we need to check because other agencies maybe they have cycles, right? For example, this one here. So angel funding, yes, they have cycle. Their cycle opens throughout the year. But for example, Cradle, so they have batches. So if you are not sure you want to apply, you can contact the relationship manager, Rizal at platcomventures.com. We can actually assist you with the information. Or you can direct it to the RMC. So maybe RMC can compile the questions and then pass it to Rizal and we can address it accordingly. Okay.
Just to add what Dr. Isham mentioned,
Mhm.
probably the branding explanation that he does, you may not find it useful,
Mhm.
but let me tell you about the perception. If the technology is from UMCIC, they have a quite valuable value to industries. Let's say if I'm carrying one technology from UMCIC to the industries, they accept it well. The same thing goes for UPM technology. For veterinarians, agricultures are very well received by industry. So what he was trying to, how you guys should put it in your value proposition is that to make IIUM in which category that you like to master. Okay, what is your core strength? So that's how that will actually help you to bring it to the industries. Because if I'm taking USM's, they are famous for pharmacies. So those are brandings that they created along their commercializations effort. So I think like being a new industry like chasing for research targets and commercialization, you should actually strategize in terms of working parallel what you're doing from bottom to top and also top, the aerial view. You have to work concurrently with your management to support whatever activities that you are doing should support your RMC. So again, another thing that I would like to address is proper questions that you are saying that how Platcom can facilitate the network session between industries and researchers. Platcoms, we have our professions are called commercialization specialists, where we facilitate the tech transfer between industries and also researchers. We protect researchers, at the same time we also protect industry. Okay? How we see the issues is we are not blaming researchers at all. The issues itself is like, if you see, our industries in Malaysia are well established by our country. Okay, we have ENEs, we have silicons, whatever that's going on. So perhaps it's a good idea for the management of the industries itself to craft a roadmap. That's why when I met Dr. Amani first, I actually was telling her, rather than letting researchers to choose your own research type. Yes, I'm good with phones and ITs. I do in phones and IT. Probably it's a good idea for the university management itself to support the researchers by how to provide the roadmap by doing IP landscaping. You have the core value in engineering. So let's do an IP landscape in Malaysia and Southeast Asia because that's the earliest market we can target. And let's see which area is not too crowded. So by the time you do the research within the 5 years, okay, you are doing research that will be accepted after the 5 years. So if you keep on going into research in terms of the crowded area, the landscape I'm saying, yeah, like
let's say probably a glucose sensor. If everybody is doing glucose sensor, 5 years comparing IIM technology and Pfizer's technology, who is ahead? It's how we take opportunity. So what Platcom does to initially to our, what I was proposing to Dr. Amani earlier is to the RMC itself, meaning the management of covering the researchers in terms of tech transfer, should actually have this landscape to actually guide probably the engineering. Hey guys, you guys should go into something like ICT sensoring or something. So once you have the umbrella, so whatever that researchers do, it's more directed, because I have been talking to few researchers that do PhDs but more into business oriented writing up. If you see, they, a lot of researchers outside Malaysia, they try to, we have the same ambition. We want to solve industry problem. But one thing, when you do PhD, your write-up should be academic oriented. That's actually all the marks that you're getting. So what they were saying is that by having this management guidance, at the same time getting the researchers to be like to diverse their skills and collaboration between the departments. It's actually they are trying to push it, and you also put in the effort, which is concurrent, which I think there will be a success down the line. If you are having expertise in sensors and you are keep on doing researches in sensors, the trouble is what we are facing now. Everything already on the shelf, but we cannot push it. It's either redundant or it's obsolete. Like no point. So the direction must be right. The researchers should cope up with what management is trying to say. Like I respect doctors' effort to make sure that everything goes commercialized, but at the same time, you also need to look at dollar and cents value. Whatever that you're putting money, government money, should churn into dollar and cents later on. So I think by having this kind of roadmap, I don't think so RMCs in Malaysia have roadmaps, yeah? I don't think so Department of Kuliah of Engineering directed what type of engineering you should be, because whatever research you do now, we are like, everybody the same thing. We have to be self-sustained in 2020 or ahead. So I would say this would be a good idea for researchers. Even platforms offer that we have this IP landscaping, which I was offering to Dr. Amani, even in terms of market report. You can ask us, we can actually help you to churn some market reports. We have subscription to quite Frost and Sullivan's GLG, where we can tell you, oh, you're doing cosmetics. But cosmetics in what term? Is it nanomaterial? And how is it, how's the market in Southeast Asia? How is it global? So you know exactly where you are leading. Rather than doing, getting the grant done on the shelf, no commercialized. And then, so I think it's concurrently everybody's effort. So pushing the industries, I think a lot of agencies out there being the broker, yeah, means bringing your technology to the industries. I think more active participation should be like what doctor said, don't put the KPI, you have to, if the researchers itself can voice out, I don't know who's giving your KPI, but if you have the one voice to actually say, hey, I want to look at industry. But not to say that industry in Malaysia, they don't look at innovations, yeah. Most of the companies that we facilitated, they actually do tell us that, when they work with local universities, what's the problem? When you apply for Multis grant, the timeline. Industries every day is dollar and cents. Padahal our Multis grant, our other MOH grants and the MOE grants, all are lengthy processes, and industry cannot wait. That's why this is the gap that we have to bridge. It's a happening in Malaysia. It's not that even though I used to join my high industry roundtable, we discuss Intel bringing project problems, we discuss with researchers. But when we say who gonna fund it, it's government. And when they say government, okay, sorry, forget it. They're gonna get the solution within 2 years where the technology is obsolete. For those companies chasing for that. So there might be some mechanism. That's why in Platcom, if you see our model of funding, I'm not bragging. We try, our shortest is 6 months. 6 months to 2 years, we complete, graduate. No more pulling it. So that's one thing that we managed to do as a Sediang Berhad. So government also, somehow rather, I think if people like us who really want to push it ahead, like Dr. Amani who's really pushing for commercialization, if we have a group of us, I'm sure that we can change the situation. Otherwise, it must go hand to hand. between researchers, the top management decision, and also us, who, as long as we can provide services as government agencies, I think Platcom will do that. And yeah, industry engagement, we carry your once it is listed in our IDO, we carry with us. We go meet up with locally and globally network sessions. We talk about IIUM have this thing. Okay, if there is an interest, we communicate. Otherwise, I think it must be aggressiveness from the RMC, communications with the industry, probably a roundtable session with engineering kuliah every month. It must be productive. It's not planned on the paper. It must be executed. Then I think it should be happening. Because Mike has this high industry roundtable. But if I go and ask them how frequent they do, not even 3-4 months once. So I think it's about execution. It's not planning on the paper.
Yeah.
It's execution. So, but on our side, we always, because our CEO is from Oxford, so he has been trained us to actually push the company. We don't push you because we know what you are responsible for the academic, for knowledge generating, for getting the research out. So that's why our funding, we push the SME. That's why even in terms of funding, if you see, the high risk is on the licensing. Actually, in our funding, we pay the upfront fee of your licensing complete to the university. So we are actually putting you less risk. Our commitment, Platcom, in facilitating the fund is we are pushing the SMEs because they should take the responsibility. And that's why our funds are matching funds. Unless companies are committed, they do not. Unless they show the fund, it has to be
Yes.
So that's why we understand the situations, and I really support what Platcom doing, even though I'm a newbie. I really support what Platcom does because they understand your situations and ours. At the same time, as I mentioned, it comes hand to hand with everything in this ecosystem. Okay, that's my comments. Anything else?
I think some researchers, Prof. Yuni is going to get her kid. She's going to come back. I think Dr. Anis also have maybe some questions later on, but I think they want to talk with you.
Yes.
Maybe more of a private setting than just asking.
And as long as you have industry approaching you, like I used to deal with Department of Engineering when one of the prof was there, like Moringa. I know that a lot of industry approached you all, in terms of the processing, the products
and so forth. Yeah.
But I realized that the product already in the market. But I'm sure it's not from IIUM.
No.
Remember, industries.
I don't think so.
Remember, industry being 25 years, 30 years in the industry. Yeah, they talk to you one time, they can get your technology. I know. So you have to be.
This is the problem.
Yes. So you have to have TTOs. You have to have.
A lot of things stolen and we find it.
Yeah, but you know what, Nalini? The thing is this, okay? That's why we need your help also.
Yeah.
Sometimes we researchers tend to be that naive. We share everything
yes.
in a conference. Step 1, step 2, like this. I refuse to do that. Because one time, I tell you the real case story, me and my previous professor, my boss basically, we developed this non-invasive tech, right? We talked in Shanghai, huge room, right? And then suddenly the next year, we went to the same in Beijing. They're both different place, right? And then we saw, isn't that our stuff? China is like billion people. Like,
just to let you know, being a sales and marketing person from industry, for us to go for one conference, we have to bring back the ROI. It's not free for company to fund us to go for one exhibition. We have to bring a technology back benefiting the company. So just remember, everyone that you talk to, everyone got their own agenda. You have to be careful.
Be careful, So I was like, and they took it.
Yeah.
And then
reverse
the
engineer.
exact same slides.
Yes. Oh, exact same.
And we were the audience at the front, and my professor was actually the judge or the evaluator of the tech of his own tech. He was like, wait a second, am I evaluating my own tech?
Yeah. Have to be careful.
You know, so to that level, you know, so we learn our lesson. I mean, sometimes it's like lessons learned through the hard way, you know, so we stop doing it. I mean, step 1, fabrication, you know, researchers, we like to do that. Step 2, we use this, add this.
As long as you say tune the pressure, high temperature, they will go down.
Yes.
It's very simple, very simple as that.
They just get the idea or the design finished.
Finish. Yeah.
Because they have the capability. We don't have it.
So now I don't go to conferences anymore unless people invite me and pay for my whole ticket and my thing, but I'm not going to present my tag or anything in great detail.
That's why the track profile that we Dr. Ng, we always do for universities. We work with RMC. We make sure that if you go and look at our IBO, you will see that information that we are giving is only to churn the interest of business. You won't find any technical details there. Unless that's the only reason we are being mediator between industries and researchers. Because we see many cases. And in some conferences, even one of the the high-level international ones, which are very academic, they don't even allow industries to even enter the conferences. And then they have to even sign something, because that conference is purely for academic research discussion. And then the scientific community even do that sort of what Platcom is doing with the industry instead of bringing them in directly to that level. You know, because the world has changed compared to conference 10 years ago. Because before, people don't have interest in commercialization and so forth. But now I realize, I cannot present my conference the way I present it during my PhD. Like a couple years ago, you know, things have changed. So you have, that's why like, in terms of branding is very important. Either you brand through your RMC or you brand IIUM. What is your expertise? Probably in halal. Because I realized that halal is not only, it's an Islamic innovation, the other way that we call it. It's anything, you know, like what, if you want to champion that, how you're going to brand it is quite important. Because like if you say moringa, most of researchers outside they'll say IIUM, but I know the product out of the market is not
this
from
is
IIUM.
very sad actually. And one I think, you know, what we encourage right now is the perception that this is the perception, right? That you need to have a working, perfect prototype before you can file anything. Don't do that. If your idea is already brilliant and you know there's market potential, like Dr. Wan, yours is, Dr. Patila, yours is, you know, people are in the packaging stuff, you know, like it's something that, you know, it's not like building a whole system. It's like a, which if the industry with more money than you, they look at your process a little bit, they can like that protect it right away. This is just my advice now, because you know, or else it'll end up like the moringa aloe vera case. Everywhere is moringa now, right? Moringa tea and moringa this, moringa swimming.
And who's the prof that passed away? He was into it.
Prof Abdul Sulaiman.
Sulaiman,
Actually, you know, I took over his research group, nanotechnology research group that he actually established. So it's kind of like quite, you know, it's dear to us, you know, and so forth. And students are still using it for environmental, water research, and so forth, you know. But then it's out. Okay. So please protect, I think, for the lecturers.
As long as you get anybody talking to you, the first thing you have to do is go to RMC. That's important, because if they need support, probably they will call other agencies to assist. Otherwise, I think they should have enough way, probably NDA. Because recently we all were judging UM's research grant for their own grant. It's sad to see that some companies, researchers need to pay 20,000 just to do the pilot testing in the industry. And we and I particularly, I argue, if you want to give industry to do the, like for example, the plastic molding or lamination, you give recipe, they run, right? Why you should pay them? I don't see the reason.
You should not pay. I agree with you.
So those are places where we come into, we can negotiate.
And you know what, Nandi, here's the thing. Because researchers don't see the impact of their work in this level. If they give, say, a company gave 5,000, it's like researcher will like, oh, it's great. It's KPI, it's contract research and so forth. 5,000 for like $1 billion value, that can create in like 10 years, you know, a lot of industry approach me, you know, Dr. Mani, we like your transducer. You know, we'll pay you like say 100K. You know, I laugh at them. I said, 100K? I said, for this, when Singularity and in Santa Clara wants to buy for like how many million to work in the work, you go to pay me 100K. I'm not gonna take it. Sounds good, you know. It's like it's more than our grants. But then you as researcher, that's why now he said, get the market reports. Then you know the value of your work, you know. The marketability of your right. That information is very important for a researcher. Actually, I think I cannot stress enough now. And I learned also the hard way. I'm telling you because I and my professor learned the hard way.
From the Chinese.
Many, not just the Chinese.
Also,
Yeah.
sometimes
And,
they contact you and they say, we need this information. Believe me. Then I said to them, who are you? They say, we are some company, but we need some information.
no, you go to RMC.
I contact the university. I said to them, this is the case. But after that, we discover there is six company owned by the Home Ministry. They needed to have some product, and one of the company they came to me. Okay, we see your work, and can you provide us with this more information? I said, yes, I can, but okay, first, okay, there is my right, there is my university right, okay, all this, okay, so we should have some deal, okay, official dealing. Say, no, just provide us.
No,
So who will
okay.
go to present the thing if I provide you?
Don't-
No, say no. But again, I'm sure they take the thing because a lot of things we are publishing, they come from other way.
Even you
Okay.
see the way that your poster.
What the university can do? Can the university go to Home Ministry and they say, this is our product?
No,
Nobody can.
no, you can't.
All your write-ups should be business oriented, not technical oriented.
So that we need to,
Yeah.
or through the exhibition, one of the, they came to the student contact me, one company from Singapore. I say, did you say, no, just like this. I say, don't say anything. They have to come to me and I need to discuss with them. They are not come because they get everything from the students.
And you know what's my real experience? I was working with latex company, the one in Lawak. There are two main, Malaysians are very well known for latex. They are working with UM to actually incorporate graphene into their latex because it's some kind of innovator. You know, the company couldn't approach UM because the UM is working with company B. So you know what the company did? The company actually approached the student.
That's good.
So they can do any bad way, any indirect way just to get the thing out. How you
Approach student already has happened at UIA.
and our students, people offer money and it's none of their thing. Sometimes it's also awareness. Sometimes it's because they don't see the value. If you say that it's worth of millions, I'm sure that it should be somehow. And your RMC is your guardian.
So what I did what I did right now is this, it's something that I would like to suggest, but maybe we can work on it. Even a PG I hired, right? I told him to sign a document.
Yeah. Even in fact, before you all talk to outsiders, you have to sign an NDA.
Because when I was a grad student at Purdue, when I did my PhD, because I work in a satellite project actually, we have to sign that there is a statement by the university. Postgraduate students, okay, when you work under a grant and under a university professor, you're not allowed, this is your rights, but this is what you should not do. Number one, clearly stated document. So what happened was one student, he did this brilliant idea where, the professors, he was a professor intellect, but he was, students sometimes think they work in the lab, that they own the idea. This is a wrong understanding that we must teach our students, So what it is was he took all the files and he ran away. He brought, right? But because of the document that the university has, right? All the police and everything go and search his house and take back all the documents and protect the university. And this, because they have that document. See, if we don't have, right, there's nothing you can use to even say to the students, like, look, you can't do this. So these are the things that I think the university might need, RMC even needs help from even your party, you know, to even review things like this that we draft or something. You know, I like my students. I don't have problem with them. They like me also. But at the same time, you know, I have to be professional and I have to protect my IP, my invention. So they're all signing that this is not, they're not taking it out and open a company without, you know, knowledge of International Islamic University and me and so forth doing that. But then, you know, that is me, which I do it myself. So, you know, it has to be at the level of the RMC.
Even the patents that you maintain, right? Our RMC is pending, right? How do you know that it's worth of maintaining? It's another question that
The university company you have to pay for that. So how many? If you don't pay,
and you would have just saved the money for other purposes, for other valuable research. So those are areas that we help to consult and also help the company, universities to make sure that you are on the right pathway and no industry can step on it. So because that's why we protect institutes, because it's not your job to go to industry, but we protect as much as you need the protection, but we need also the corporations, and we always work with RMC. We don't go directly to lecturers because RMC is the governance for institutes in every university.
But I think even talking to RMC of other universities, I like to make more options for researchers. So you just don't go one route, you know. You know, because sometimes you can't be comfortable with a route. You want to go to another route, you know. For example, so I think that options has to be given to researchers,
and also promote inter-university collaboration in terms of not new innovations but integration of innovations. It's what we are looking at also in the future, because if you read at the upcoming one, how industry making money out of universities is taking UPM, taking UGPs, they integrate. Why not we researchers? That's how I actually promote these researchers, because not necessarily new invention. You just tweak a little, you got a novelty, right? So those things are how we progress ahead. Not necessarily need $1 million research new things, but also to integrate another options. Okay.
Any questions from the researchers? Concerns? So do you want to talk about that? So you're doing this IP review and so forth, right? Like what you need from the researchers. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I do.
Okay, so first thing we will do, we will send out this IDF, Invention Disclosure Form. You have to fill in this invention disclosure form with the details. It is some kind of NDA, so both it protects yourself, and also we will sign it, and yes, IDF. So IDF will be sent to RMC, and then RMC will disseminate it to the researchers, and then pass it back to us, the signed copy. We will do our evaluation. If we need further information, of course we will direct it to you. And then we will come back with the report and also the tech profile.
Usually we start the
Presentation, yes.
So we can work with idea, with design, or with a prototype.
Yes, any stages. So it can be idea, it can be even ready product. Yeah.
But upon our review, once you present, upon our review on market visibility and also the looking at the potential of the idea, then we will tell you, is the idea worth of proceeding? Is your product worth of going to the market, or you need little tweaking, or you need what's next?
Yeah, so they give early feedback for your research, for your idea, or whatever you have.
But normally what we do is actually, like for example, other universities, I'm looking after UTHM and also co-doing it with Rizal UMK. What we do is we have this IP census session. So we will come, and then the researchers, you will line up, the RMC will line up a few researchers to present to us. Of course, we have a template. This template, and then they present it to us, and we will do our evaluation. We will ask questions during the session. So this is the normal way of doing IBO. Then only we pass the IDF actually. Okay. But of course, if you want to go fast, it's up to the relationship manager as well. If you want to bypass the IBO presentation session, you can actually send the IDF directly. But of course, RMC will have
RMC's
to.
consent,
Yeah.
So probably it will be like, okay, one of the examples that we can tell you is that we are the default IP advisor for UTP. Okay, so what we do is that we help the TTOs, because you see, in terms of technology transfer from the academic up to the Petronas itself, they realized that they have the people, but there are gaps, bits on pieces that were missing. So that's another way if RMC, if they would like to proceed to have Platcom as an advisor to all the tech transfer thing within IIUM. Secondly, we will do it also as a part of our services. We do this IBO and then we advise you. How you go take it further, it's upon your RMC's advice. We write tech profile based on the viability of your technology that we will validate. Then we will let RMC know that this probably out of 10, 3 is good. So would you like to proceed in our website listing? Then we have some things to fill out, and any inquiry that comes through our website will be directed to RMC. So it's all through the RMC. We do not deal direct with yourself. That's one thing, but it will be by request. The services will be by request. Like for UTP, we always have this we call IP clinics. It's a service that we offer. Just to let you know that we are perhaps we have to self-sustain. So we are doing it at a subsidized rate for government. So IP clinics, what we do is we have sessions every month with UTP's researchers to let them know about the IP related issues and also solve their current problem ad hoc. That means we have our IP expertise to be stationed in our satellite station in UTP. So that's one collaboration which we also pushing with our other institutes as well. So that's another thing that upon Dr. Amani's consent, but those things we do because we have expertise in-house. This is how we want to make it open for utilization, because today we might have only engineering, but how do we cover the entire IIUM's faculties? So we can have our satellite office here. We come ad hoc, we have appointments, to talk directly. So that's when we consult one-to-one directly with our IP experts. So our IP experts are registered patent agent, and also there are few who has been experienced for more than 10 years in IP drafting. So you can even ask them details of how to draft, how to get those, auditing, landscaping input from them. Another few things that we offer to our research institute. Otherwise, you can come as an IBO service. We help you to write the tech profile. You will write, we will review, and then we will bounce back. With your consent, then only we publish. And then otherwise, it's all passive marketing through our website.
Another thing we can do is, for example, if you have certain topics that you want to be this is in terms of capacity building. So if you need trainings in terms of IP, we can do it as well. So we have capacity building, bespoke capacity building programs. It depends on our negotiation. We can do it for free. We can do it chargeable.
Yeah, because we don't have many people who knows about these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have more people,
yes,
even at RMC, to actually understand this process.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want a 1 person, 2 person to be in charge of
exactly
evaluating people's ideas. This is very, very important actually.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, even if a researcher, this is just my point of view, even if a researcher is not in RMC, for example, but a researcher already have, wealth of experience in the research and so forth, that can also be trained to understand IPs. I think why not?
Yes, why not?
Empower the researchers. It's like we can't have just say, okay, the only person at this body, RMC, is the only person that knows the process. It's very important for researchers who are interested, such as everybody here. You think that it's easy for them to spend all their evening here, and they have students, they have this. So meaning that these researchers are very engaged and wanting to commercialize their work.
Yes.
And they would love to know the process. So for me, assuming researchers, oh, they don't know about IP, oh, they don't know business, they don't want to know. I don't think so.
It's not that you don't know, you just don't want to get.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So if the researchers right now want to know, right? So we should facilitate them in knowing that process.
Yes.
Okay. So even if, say, Dr. Fatila, my colleague behind there, would like to know about the IP and so forth, I'll be happy to have her being, in that training that you were saying about IP. Why not?
True.
Could be one from each research unit or group, right? One person from each research unit or group who's interested in representing their unit or group in this IP thing. That's another thing that we can do. So because of that, it empowers people, and that
at least you know things
exactly
that you know. Not like I have pattern, I don't know how to draft. I draft, but you still need do it right at the first is what you all expect, because time is money now. So getting to know things sometimes, getting to know all this, I'm sure that you will have that power to be confident that Dr. Money, don't worry, I will settle this, get commercialized. It's about how you carry everything that you have churned out. No point you having it on the shelf and you'll be like, what's next? I like that approach. Like you want to empower your.
Yeah, it's good. I believe in that knowledge should be shared. The more people know the knowledge, the more they're empowered and the more they have confidence to do things. Because now people were thinking IP. What is IP? Like just now, Dr. Ng said, copyright, trade secret are all IPs. I mean, how many researchers know that? Maybe the people in this room only. So it's something that we should actually, especially with the changing climate and so forth.
Yes.
So anyway, I want to thank the Platcom folks who come here, spend their time. But if I just want to make just a short session for researchers, right, who has questions or burning questions, or you want sort of like the private session with the Platcom folks, and because I have a meeting with Professor right now on the opposite room, actually. Amani's work, right? Running back and forth, but I know some of you have burning questions, and they come all the way from Cyberjaya. So I'm going to let you. I think Prof. Rini would have several burning questions. She's a Latpan.
Yes.
Thing that you guys always give example, but she has her questions now that she wants to ask and advice from your team. Okay.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think I don't know about the others, but you can ask. But what RMC will do is this: you will give you have a template or something that you want, right?
Yep.
Platform has, right? I'm going to send to the researchers. Yes.
All the slides.
This I don't know. I will ask whatever they can provide. Maybe
it's there. Yeah, it's on your.
Yeah, actually, this slides, Prof, is broadcasted. So whatever I said, right, is actually really broadcasted. So.
Maybe you send it to the people.
No, but this link is actually available with the slides. Actually, Nalini, I don't think we say. I think what we say is really what needs to be said. And I'm glad
having 2% within hundred thousands of people who just want to push the thing out doesn't work. We have to put hand to hand.
Yeah,
it's everybody's.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to be brave and have courage too, right? So anyway, you will give that. I will send to the researchers on that. And if you have questions to ask the team, Platcom team, please do. Okay. And
we will send the IDF form first. So rest assured that we are technology commercialization platform. Whatever that you are sending us our protection needs. Gentleman agreement on.
Have we signed SAA?
We have signed NDA with you. Then well assured the rest of the technology will set within our team, and it will be between the relationship manager and the team that working with it. And then we will look at the technology, and then we will evaluate which one we will need presentations, and then probably we can have one-to-one talk on how feasible or viable or reasonable.
So especially for those, right, who are assistant professors who think that their stuff is not mature yet and so forth, right? Don't be that, okay? Because you might not have 20 years research experience, but your idea is so compelling and can be done in like 6 months. Commercial, like, push the conversation, go for it. Right? I already can name people in this room. I'm not going to do that. They're my colleagues, but please do so. Have fill in this disclosure form, and then have your work be evaluated at a very early stage of your research. This is very valuable. One thing, don't trust anyone.
We have
with NDA you can.
we have to work on the SAA as well.
NDA you can, yes.
The strategic alliance agreement, I think we have to work on that as well. Yeah.
Company, we have to sign an agreement. It is mentioned that I'm curious from Malaysia. It's mentioned that I cannot bring out any projects or any clientele repo out with me 2 years, within the 2 years. After that, it's up to us. So even now, I think every companies are like people like us, because we carry a lot of information. Actually, companies itself impose that. So you can see how actually people value this. Sometimes we just be naive and say a lot of things to outsiders. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
This is official letter. So I will leave it to the researchers. You have, I think.
Yep, we are here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now let me just tell you, there's industry people in this room too.
Okay.
Yeah, there's industry people in this room too. They just come and.
Actually, we want to meet companies that has been taken up IIUM's technology. It will be very great platform for us to see where's the gap, what is missing. If you have already industries working with you, do through RMC have a meeting with us, say what you have been doing, what you need assistance, because not everybody need funding. To be clear, not everybody need funding. You need market access. You may need IP services. Okay, so do come back to other companies that you're working with, because I know because your Kuantan area, you have more companies from that side and also locally central. So do bounce back. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Rob.
Nalini, can I have like 2 minutes with you? I'm sure you are rushing back.
I was thinking you look so familiar. Then I remember, yes, you came to our office. Yes, I'm good.
I was having a class.
So Nalini, I have a meeting. I'm going to shake hands with you first.
Yes, doctor.
I have a meeting.
You haven't got my card, right?
I haven't. Okay. I got your card. Okay. Thank you,
doctor.
Okay. So they're going to have some discussion.
And also, if anything you want to proceed with IIM, using RMC and platform, you can just write to us. I think having the IP clinics and supply office would be really
Very
good.
good.
I feel like she's highlighting me to join some of those things.
I will ask my boss if I can share their framework with you. And I'll share with you, and then probably you can get the management.
I will do the work. This is the person I need to win.
Okay. All right. Last. And good luck for your Manchester.
Okay.
Actually, remember that I talked on the packaging material. You also actually, I went to the non-profit on this material because they are having all the infections.
Talking about packaging, let me update you. I just approved one kind of forced to approve. What do you mean? I was in charge of selecting this grant. And this lecturers came from UM, and then she said she was doing all this packaging material with the load and extruder. Okay. And then she was saying that the raw material is nanostructure. And I said, nanostructures, you're talking about raw material, nanostructure is fine. I know it's just nanostructures, not ready. So how can you say that's your raw material? And nanostructure is from this material. But doesn't make sense. The product is not that. And then we had 5 panels. We have years or what? No, it's a membrane. Oh, yeah. Because for a group, I have to, but I guess the lowest score.
But now we are meeting the quality. So actually now the company that is coming, it's a company Mutiara, so they're using PLA. Okay, but they are actually purchasing the PLA. But I want to use the cost. Before that, we managed to improve the profit, right? Because I was thinking to approach some because I'm going for the gadget.
Really have to protect my wait, it's yours patented. She looks very familiar, but I don't know.
Ilani.
But have you seen her?
I've seen Rizal.
Yeah, he was mentioning your name. And I was like, probably because you cheery, right? You always look at your face and like, okay, let's just stress nakam ya. Yeah, he's mentioned you.
So do you think it should be like protected how do you go for IP like you say you have a good idea you want to see whether it's available for IP and
Yeah, so why not to submit put it in our IDS.
okay the
Mention that, then I will reserve you for the patent drafting. So yes, we have our service desk, patent drafting.
actually we have a team. I'm not sure the one of the oh ada Dr. Hadri itu yang tahu barang saya okay
Okay, so you can ask them.
we are
He's from?
we are working in one group with Dr. Hadri Nanwa. So actually this is the student. I think he's supposed to present today, right? It's okay. I think
So he will be writing the.
we will be writing here.
You can write. You can just let me tell you. Our IT services we do not fund.
Okay.
Because it's the services that we are paying for all the resources, and it's a fees that we have to pay my iPhone. So the benda tu tak hantar because it's kind of a service that you pay. Other than that, later when you go to the company here and stuff, then we can actually ask the company to apply. Okay, but you have to make sure that yours is protected. Let's look at the value of the research. Idea for. Then I will review we will actually the team will do, and then we will look at how your idea is getting around and how the industry looks like. Probably I may not give you the comprehensive report of the market. I will probably just okay. Okay, so you know the industry better lah. I mean, plastic means I know nothing. So you probably said I need plastic industries in Southeast Asia, and then you said raw material in plastic, upcoming raw material, application of nano material, whatever you can do. So you have to know what market reports. What I will do, we have process cellulose, we have GLG, and we have plastics. What we do is we actually your employees will go then they will get reports. Then from there I will send it to you. So from that report, let's look at your house, how we can
So the first thing is I now request a report from you, right?
you write the idea.
The idea.
We will look through, and once we come, let's say yours is very promising, we will come and ask you to present formally so that we can understand better. And at the same time, when you submit the IDF, we will put the ID landscape. So when we come and see your presentation, we have something supporting document to say how's your usage look like in Malaysia, or how saturated is the market, and how you should go for oil and gas stuff. Things like that. We will try to follow. So that's why I was telling Dr. Ramani that if we don't have the software, I have to bring back your IDF form, and then we will evaluate. And then we come back to you. It's good for you, so you know how to move forward, right?
So we do not have to go through the RF.
No, everything that we now, yeah, we hold some money. So she will send to you. See, yeah, there you are. Godfather.
Yeah, yang materi yang you do is tweet pattern. Okay, you're different. Okay, actually, she boss or my boss, she wrote a pattern to Iron like that. But we are working on different materials.
But usually what we advise the researchers is before you write materials, you need to know your
that's
landscape of your pattern. Why you want to raise about what? Patenting what?
Logic business people, right? It's valuable or not.
I'm more into business. We don't go all this technical, I don't know.
I'm afraid when you see this is bullshit lah, but
But at least if you tweak a bit, Probably that would be $1 billion business. Who knows? So let's see the market report how the it goes. You just you probably how you can find that. Right? We got Frost and Sullivan, right? So what you do is Google Frost and Sullivan. You just search for the report, and if they are in the Frost and Sullivan's page, but you cannot access, give me the link. I will access for you. Takkan I nak do? I don't even know the keywords. I can't even log in from here. It must be from my office. So just give me the link and then you will let me know. So all my application. Compliment. So that I can push the money satellite office here. Kan? Because it's not about BTP having money or not. But the thing is, we value the technology so much that all our services, IPTVs, having the central offices, yes, we have been paid. I'm being transparent here. But because the value, because some of the technology even go to Iran, and when they, because they do Platcom is doing IP valuation. So if they don't do proper valuation of technology, people are earning $1 billion and don't even pay. Like what is that, right? No. So that's why we take this so seriously. And for me as a GP, I want to replicate the model to all you pay to maintain unwanted pattern, you replicate us, destroy all the services. Please push Dr. Amani to do the IP audit. It's chargeable, but you will save more than what you pay. Yep. I'm not selling now, but that is my company.
The one that you sent by email. No, that's different.
Yes. Okay, so that's all you have in mind. Usually people don't even want to put it in. Okay, so the agreement, usually what we push for, from my experience, we actually put a mediator lawyer. Okay. So I talk to the lawyer, the industry talk to the lawyer. So the lawyer is, because he's got his because whatever I said, they reached the contract between us. I can sue you. So you put Platcom in the middle. You just Platcom. Platcom reserve that. You just talk to them. So the secret is reserved. Because if you, for example, you have ETF technologies that cannot be commercialized because the technology, right? We said this one professor, and she's not willing to charge anybody, but now she's selling it to one of the Vietnam company because they pay her. 100,000? Is it the money compensate or